Okay, today what I'd like to do is I'd like to cover some basic linking of different web pages, doing hyperlinks, and for my students this will be Lab 2. Okay, so let's get started here. Here you see I have LiveWeave open, and I want to do a couple things. I'm not using CSS today, so I want to delete this and make my HTML window bigger. And I could probably make my viewing window bigger because I'm not going to do any JavaScript. So I could just have these two windows here is perfectly fine. I just drag them down and that works pretty good for me. Okay, you notice that LiveWeave has given me the structure so far, some structure. Some of it I'm going to have to delete, but that's the great thing about LiveWeave. It sets this up for you really quickly and you can get rolling. Most of my students, I make them type all this out so that they can learn it. But you won't have to do that. Okay, let's take a look at the lab that we're doing today. We're going to make this lab with a level heading one here, a horizontal rule right here, and a couple paragraphs, and then some hyperlinks. So let's get started. Now, what I've done for my students, and let me show you here. I'm going to go back. What I've done for my students is I've given them this text already. So they don't have to type it, which is kind of nice. But if you're doing this, you can use any text you want. You can just copy and paste some text in there, or you could, you can type it if you like. You're welcome to. Okay, so I've got the text, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw the text in here really quickly, just so I have it. And I want to start right here. I want to change my title. So I'm going to call it Lab 2, page 1. Okay. All my classes, I have my students in the head comment out some information, like their last name, the date, and I like them to put in, again, the lab and page, just in case. Okay, and you want to tab these over just to kind of clean them up a little bit. You can do that. Okay, so I've got that in there. I'm just going to leave this stuff here. I don't need it, but I don't need this right here, Hello Weaver. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, we said that this first part here is a heading, so we are going to do that. Let's do that first. So we are going to do for heading, it's the H1 tag, and we're going to close the H1 tag right there. Okay, class schedule is also an H1, but I'm afraid if I put this H1 in here, let's try it. It's going to space it, and I don't really want it spaced because, oops. I really don't want it spaced because I think in my example, they don't have any space between here. So we could do this. Instead of doing it like this, I could do this. And then what if I put a break in there? Would that work? Okay, yeah, that works. So this is called nesting, where I have the H1 tag on the outside, and then you could have tags on the inside. And they call them nesting if they're inside those tags. And they have outside ones, and well, I'll explain that later. We'll talk about that in another lab. Okay, so I've got that done. Let's look at what else we have to do. Okay, horizontal rule. We did that in the last lab. So we're going to do an HR. And then if I closed it, look what happened. It goes the whole width. And I don't want that because in my lab, it only wants it 50% and aligned left. So what we're going to do is we'll just do this in the HTML. Okay, and we will type in, well, we want it aligned left. And we want the size to be 50%. So let me think what the syntax is for that. Equals. I think it's width. 50%. You could put a size in here if you wanted to, and you see it changed to 50%. And then I'm going to put line equals left. Okay, that's right. If you ever forget the syntax on this and you're not sure what it is, just go to W3 Schools and type in horizontal rule width, and it'll show you the syntax for that. Sometimes I'm just like, now how was that done? Because I don't do this every day. So, okay, so look, we got a couple of paragraphs. We can do that. So let's do this. We're going to go a p tag. Whoop, what am I doing there? And let's close up that p. Okay, so we got a paragraph there. And then let's do the same thing here. Okay, p tag there. So now let's look at what we got here and compare it. Okay, that's good. Now we have some hyperlinks. We have last class, next class, and course schedule. Let's do that. So to do a hyperlink, if you're not sure what to do, you can always go to W3 Schools and it'll show you. But I'm going to go what we call an anchor tag, an A tag, and then I want to type in href equals, okay? And then I want to put what I'm going to link to. And I think on this one here, we want to link to last class. So I don't have a page called last class, but I will have one. last_class.html. It's got to be exactly the name of the page we're calling. And we're going to have these in the same directory. So I don't have to tell it a different directory. We're just going to leave them in the same directory just to make it easier for you for now. Okay, and then I want a label for this. This is what's going to show up on the page right here. Okay, after that, I just want, they had a little horizontal line, vertical line. They had a vertical line. And I just want to put the vertical line in there. Okay, I can continue on this line, but I'm going to go ahead and do it down here. And again, I'm going to start with my A tag, anchor tag, equals, and then what was my next one? Is it next class? Okay, next class. Okay, so I want to go to, well, I got to go spell that right. Next _ HTML. Notice how I don't put any spacing here. Try to keep in your naming, just keep the spacing out of there. You can just put an underscore or a capital when you want to start the next word, and it'll be better. And then for the label, it doesn't matter. You can space all you want. Okay. And let's put another vertical line there. Okay, let's do that again. So we have an anchor tag, ref equals, and then I know that this one was called course schedule, but this one is not going to be a web page. It's going to be a PDF file. So I got to put .pdf. Okay. So we're not calling a web page, an HTML file. We're calling a PDF file. So I'm going to put, except for I just said that we shouldn't put the name. That's wrong. Let's just do this. Let's put it in there. I don't want to put course schedule like that. I think it's just called schedule. So it's important that you make sure that this is called exactly the same name as the file. If it's not called exactly the same name, it doesn't know what path to take to find that. So make sure it's exactly the same. I'm pretty sure it's course or schedule.pdf, and then of course the little label course schedule works really good. Okay, so now once we're done with that, you might want to put, I think I'm going to do this in this title instead of putting Lab2 page 1. I think I'm going to put class schedule. I think that would be better because this is going to be what's on the tab right here. So let's do that. Okay, so I think we got it done. Okay, That's done right there. Okay, so we're done with that. We can go ahead and save it up to the cloud. Okay, and then let's create a new page. So we've saved it up to the cloud. If you want to download it on your machine here, you can do this and click on this and you can download it. Okay, but I've saved it up, so I'm good to go. I'm logged in. Last time I made that mistake, I didn't log in, caused a problem. So I'm good to go. Now what I want to do is I want to start something new. So I want to load another basic template. Now what I could do is, because my next page is similar, if I wanted to, let me scroll down here. Okay, so this is my last class. And then here's my schedule right there. So let's take another look at this here. Class schedule. Okay. So what we want to do is, I don't know, did I name it the wrong thing? It's not, yeah, it is class schedule. I got it named properly, which I think this is kind of the home page. Okay, so I think that's right. So now we're going to do the next one, and it's very similar. What we could do is we could copy all this and paste it, or we could paste these and change that, but we better not do that, because sometimes I've had students do that and they forget to change it and none of it works. So let's just do it from scratch. So let's go back to LiveWeave, and we'll click on Tools, and we'll just click on Load Basic Template. And yep, I'm going to replace the old stuff because I already saved it, so we're good. Okay, again, I'm going to change the window size. I don't need any CSS right now, so I'm going to drop that down, give us a little bit more room. Okay, and this here for the title, let's do this again. Let's call it last class. Before, what I did was I put in the lab, but we'll put that in the commented out area, but we don't need it both times. Okay, remember, I like you to put your last name, and any information that you need in there is a good thing. It doesn't show up. Okay, and the date is 9/25. And then I like to put Lab2, page 2. No spaces. Let's not do that. Okay, we don't need this, so we can get rid of that right there. So we need to start our last class. Again, for my students, I have this text for you, last class, and you can just open it up and copy it, and then you don't have to copy or type anything, which is kind of nice. Okay, and let's make that a little bigger so you guys can see it. Okay, so I'm just going to paste that right in here real quick. And let's take a look at what we have to do. DMed last class, and then a horizontal rule at 50%. Okay. So before, what we did was we did an H1, and we closed the H1 right here. That worked better. And then we just put a break in there to give us what we want it to look like. Okay. Now we need a horizontal rule. And we remember we went width equals, whoops, 50%. And then we want to put line equals left. And then we got to close our tag there. Okay, so we've got a couple sentences here. It looks like we have some space in between them, so let's do that. So we're going to go a p tag And we'll close that tag right there. And then we'll do the same thing right here. And let's close that tag. The great thing about this, if it's red, then you know you've done something wrong and you have to look back over and see what you've done. Okay, so now we have some anchor tags. I know that. What are they called? They're called home, next class, and course schedule. Okay, so we're going to go with an anchor tag, href equals. But I think I might change it to index because usually the home one we want to call index. I'm going to just change it to index.html. And then we need to have a label for it. And then I want a vertical line. And then I need another anchor tag. And we want to go equals. And then for this one here, we wanted it to be next class. And this is going to be an HTML. Okay, and then we want to caret and put the label in there. So we're going to go. And remember, you can have spaces in labels, but don't have it in naming files. Okay, and we would like another vertical line. And then I think the last one was the schedule. And I remember before it was called schedule. It's a PDF. HTML if it's a PDF. A lot of my students will do that. And then I think for schedule, I think that was the label for it. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we got. Okay, it's all good. Now I've got one more to do, and it's done the same way. Same type of thing, and I want you guys to do this one on your own. So how do you start that? First thing you would do is make sure that you save this, and then if you need to download it, click on Tools and download this Weave as a single file. Okay, and then you can go back to Tools and you could load Basic Template, and then you can create your last page. So I know you think I was going to help you do that one. You have to do that one on your own, but remember to save it up here and to download it. Also, for my students to turn this in, I want you to do a screenshot of just the code and the page, like right there. That's what I want you to give me. Take a screenshot of that, and that's what you will turn in on Google Classroom. Okay, so get Lab 2 done, and I will see you for Lab 3.